share the word with them. Let it be an avenue for you to actually win them to their souls to the Lord. And that's what I believe this platform is all about.
He commended the group for accommodating Gibson's Wahab Bankole, Osrc.
The transmission company of Nigeria has announced plans to carry out critical maintenance work on the 132 kilovolt Akure-Osogbo transmission line. According to a public notice, the upgrade will disrupt power supply to Ondo and Ekiti states for 2 months. The notice further indicated that the affected states will experience hourly day 1 to its apologizes for the disruption of customers, soliciting their patience and understanding. Pharmacists and National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, have lauded President Bola Tinubu for signing an executive order to increase local production of healthcare products. The profession has thanked the President for his courage and commitment to ensure Nigeria is put back on the path of prosperity. The pharmacists, however, called for other policies the government can implement to strengthen local pharmaceutical capacity and the industry. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mahmoud Pate, has announced that in a transformative move to revitalize the Nigerian health sector, President Tinubu signed the executive order to increase local production of healthcare products, including pharmaceuticals, diagnostics, devices such as needles and syringes, biologicals, medical textile, among others. He explained that order introduces zero tariffs, excise duties and VAT on specified machinery, equipment and raw materials, aiming to reduce production costs and enhance local manufacturers' competitiveness. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says its operatives have arrested 2 passengers traveling to Doha at the screening point of Terminal 2 of Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. They tested positive for ingestion of illicit substances. According to the agency spokesman Femi Babafemi, the suspects Daniel Ayikomo and Waid Ayigoro were subsequently taken into observatory custody. Daniel excreted a total of 90 wraps of cocaine in 6 excretions, while Ayigoro discharged 60 wraps of the same class as substance of 5 ingestions. Further investigation revealed that Daniel had stolen the identity of his late uncle, who was once based in Germany, to obtain a Schengen visa for free access to Europe. The federal government has, in collaboration with United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, and development partners, emphasized the critical need to strengthen the social protection system to address poverty. This is contained in a communique endorsed by UNICEF representative Christian Mundauti, EU ambassador in Nigeria Samuel Isokwe, and Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy Mr. Wale Edo at the end of the 3rd edition of the Social Protection Cross Learning Summit in Abuja. According to the communique, Nigeria, the most populous country in Africa, faces significant challenges in human capital development and privations in health, education, nutrition, water, hygiene, sanitation, and child protection. It noted that the situation underscores the urgency for comprehensive and effective social protection strategies. Emphasizing the importance of integrated social protection system, it noted that Nigeria is committed to ensuring access to social protection for all and removing the barriers that people face in accessing these services. President Bola Tinubu has condemned the bomb attacks which resulted in the loss of lives, the maiming of all the citizens in the Gwoza local government area of Borno State. The president described the attacks as desperate acts of terror and a clear manifestation of the pressure mounted against terrorists and the success achieved in degrading their capacity to launch offensives. The president declared that the purveyors of violence will be punished and that the cowardly attacks are only but isolated episodes as its government will not allow the nation to slither into an era of fear, tears, sorrow, and blood. The bomb attack claimed at least 18 lives and injured many others at the wedding ceremony in Tashan, Mararaba, Goza Town, Borno State. The victims, who were all civilians, were returning from a wedding celebration when the attack occurred near a busy motor park. Emergency services rushed to the scene to rescue those injured and transport them to the hospitals in Goza. The Turkish embassy in Nigeria says there is no visa ban on Nigerian passport holders, dispelling reports that have raised concern. Reports have surfaced suggesting that Ethiopia, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates had revoked certain privileges for Nigerian passport holders, such as visa on arrival, e-visa, and outright passport issues. Personal Secretary to the Turkish ambassador in Nigeria, Wumi Evelyn, clarified that Turkey no longer allows Nigerian passport holders to obtain its e-visa, which was previously a seamless process. However, there is no visa ban on Nigerian passport holders. In 2023, Nigeria was ranked 90th globally, allowing visa-free admission to only 46 out of 227 destinations. You're still watching Osrc News at 7. After the break, we'll bring you more stories. Please, don't go anywhere. Thank you very much for rejoining us. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. A team of experts from International Fund for Agricultural Development (IFAD), who came on a joint supervision mission exercise to the livelihood improvement family enterprises in the Niger Delta Life Energy Project, have rounded off their visits applauding the successful execution of the project in Ondo State. According to representatives from various stakeholders during the wrap-up workshop in Akure, participants in Ondo State performed as specified. Omoriniola Umbichi reports that the workshop climaxed the fourth supervision mission in Ondo State.
The joint IFAD fourth supervision mission, which commenced a few days ago in Ondo State, concluded its assessment not just on the beneficiaries of Nigeria Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises of the Niger Delta project, but also provided stakeholders the opportunity to assess the achievements of the project. This is to review the performance of the project across the various commodities of intervention and also provide technical support where necessary. Reacting on their observation during the visit, Project Technical Lead of Global Technical Support, Abdullahi Gonde, alongside other representatives, commended the implementation of the project in the state.
These are among the most productive standards in something. We have seen it, not read it, not hear about it, we have seen it. We have made it better. And then we appreciate the effort of the project beneficiaries, the regulators, the expertise, the service providers, community leaders, and all the stakeholders who have participated in the project activities and have shared their experiences with the initiative. Your contributions are vital for the success and sustainability of the project.
I therefore enjoin the project team never to relent in monitoring the project progress closely to ensure the beneficiary stay on track to achieve our objective of job creation, income enhancement and food security on sustainable basis.
National Project Coordinator Dr. Abiodun Sani promised close monitoring, assuring that the number of people living with disabilities participating in the project would also be increased.
Now, in the context of those we are reaching to, 5% of our beneficiaries are people with disabilities, and we are also planning to see how we can increase this percentage going towards 10% as a number. So presently, we have accommodated them, and we are providing services to them and supporting them appropriately.
State Project Coordinator Olawale Ademola, who was elated at the outcome of the visit, pledged commitment in ensuring that more residents benefited.
This is a category of beneficiaries that we refer to as women-headed household. Those are the women that probably the widows or maybe the husbands are not actually being responsible again. So that's that aspect of beneficiaries. We have them.
Commissioner for Agriculture and Forestry Olayato Aribo, represented by his permanent secretary Mrs. Foluke Tunde Dayamola, recognized the project as a strategic intervention that aligns with the state vision of transforming the agricultural sector and empowering the rural youths and women.
And we will continue to provide the necessary support and enabling environment for the project to scale up and sustain its performance and impact. We will also ensure that the project is integrated into the state agricultural development plan and budget, and that the project lessons and best practices are disseminated and replicated across the state.
This is the first time Ondo State will be hosting the joint IFAD supervision mission since the commencement of the project 5 years ago. Omoniola Humbeji, Osrc News.
The remains of Deaconess Florence Toyinbo, the mother of Toyin Oni, Permanent Secretary, Ondo State Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Cooperative Society Services, have been laid to rest at their country home in Laluji, Ondo State. Joy Pius reports that the event had the presence of Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, top government functionaries and dignitaries from all walks of life.
The Thanksgiving service for Deaconess Florence Toyinbo, the mother of Toyin Oni, Permanent Secretary, Ondo State Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Cooperative Services, took place at Christ Apostolic Church, Oke-Ishegun, Ile-Oluji, Ondo State. The government's delegation was led by the head of service, Bayo Phillips, who represented Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa at the event, accompanied by notable personalities and staff from the Ondo State workforce. In a sermon, the officiating minister, Pastor Enoch Apata, charged Christians not to get carried away by the pleasures of this world. The head of service, Bayo Phillips, commiserated with the deceased's family, charging them to emulate the virtues of their late mother.
The lesson this teaches us is that we should do everything possible to put our children on very, very strong footing in life, so that while alive and when we are gone, they will carry on the family touch beautifully.
The Permanent Secretary, Ondo State Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Cooperative Services, Mrs. Toyin, and other family members described their late mother a pillar of peace and generosity, who will be greatly missed.
She taught us as the children that we should maintain a good family, we should maintain good relationship with our spouses, we should also take good care of our children, because whatever we turn out to the society will have a great influence in what the society will be.
We can proudly say she lived a good life, and we were the products of her life.
I'm praying I can inspire my children and hopefully my grandchildren who she has inspired.
A reception was thereafter held for guests who came from far and near, as their atmosphere was filled with good melodies from gospel singer Yinka Ayefele. Late Dickness Florence Toyinbo was born in 1928 in Ileoluji, Ondo State. A devout Christian, she was said to have contributed immensely to the growth of everyone around her, and one who has embraced her motherly role with boundless energy and dedication. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
Veteran Nollywood actress Joke Silva has broken her silence on rumors doing the round on social media that her husband Olu Jacob is dead. Joke debunks the rumors, saying her husband is alive and doing just fine. This is the second time rumors about the death of the ace Nigerian actor and film executive whose real name is Oludotun Bayo Jacobs will be doing the rounds on social media. Jacobs, who has starred in over 120 Nollywood films, is considered one of the top Nigerian Nollywood actors. And I will move to the foreign scene. President Joe Biden's unsteady performance at Thursday's presidential debate has sparked a wave of anxiety among Democrats, some whom fear their party's standard bearer could drag down the rest of the ticket and cause Democrats down ballot seats in November. Even Biden's allies and supporters in Texas acknowledged the debate was a disaster. The performance overshadowed the debate's substance, including former President Donald Trump's support for rolling back abortion rights and refusal to disavow the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Adirunke Kolawole has more.
Worried Democrats alarmed by President Joe Biden's debate performance against Republican rival Donald Trump are openly questioning whether he should be replaced as their candidate in the 2024 election. The University of Virginia Center for Politics Director Larry Subato said the process to replace a presidential nominee is clear, but it wouldn't be easy.
There is only one way for a nominee to be removed, and that is for the nominee to decide not to run before the convention, to open it up, to let the, in this case, Democratic National Committee set the rules for the convention, which would be an open convention with declared candidacies in advance, probably support from a certain number of state delegations. So the convention, in a sense, will serve as a primary electorate that has already voted. In order for Biden to step down, you would have to have a union of Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, and they would have to all agree that he has to go in the interest of the country and in the interest of defeating Donald Trump. They would have to go to the White House and try to convince him, and he will be tough to convince, and they'll also have to try to convince Joe Biden, and that may be even tougher.
Subato has a long list of possible replacements, but said there is no obvious top choice.
Kamala Harris has to be on the list because she's the incumbent vice president. I don't think she would be a particularly strong nominee. Governor Gavin Newsom, not just because he's governor of California, but because he has access to tons of money, which the new nominee would have to raise very, very quickly. There aren't many people who could do it. Governor Gretchen Whitmer would absolutely be in this mix, Michigan being one of the key swing states. Governor Pritzker of Illinois, who could self-fund. Governor Andy Beshear in Kentucky. Kentucky's deeply red, but Beshear's managed to be elected twice, which isn't easy for a Democrat in Kentucky. Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania, who's become very popular very quickly. An articulate guy who comes across well and fits Pennsylvania, a key swing state, probably better than Joe Biden does, and certainly better than Donald Trump does.
So far, Biden says he isn't going anywhere. His campaign held an all-hands-on-deck meeting a day after the debate to reassure staffers that the 81-year-old was not dropping out of the race, according to two people familiar with the meeting.
If this were anybody else but Donald Trump as the Republican nominee, this race would be over. It is only because Donald Trump is so controversial and so widely feared for what he may do that Biden is still in the race. He still could win. Of course, you can also say that about Trump. If there were a new a vigorous, younger Democratic nominee, I think people would take that opportunity in a minute to keep Trump out.
Adirunke Kolawole, Osrc News.
Voters in France are at the polls in the first round of high-stakes snap parliamentary elections that could lead to the far-right party of Marine Le Pen forming a government in a historic first. While polls suggest support for Le Pen's far-right anti-migrant national rally RN has strengthened in recent days. The outcome of the two-round election, called 3 weeks ago by the President Emmanuel Macron, following the crushing defeat of his allies in the European parliamentary elections, remains highly uncertain. Voter turnout across France stands at 25.9%, a surge of 7.5% compared with the 2022 elections. President Macron's Assemble Alliance is languishing in the polls and could come third behind RN and the left-wing coalition New National Front. And now in sports, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa said his administration will continue to prioritize sport in the scheme of things and also pay attention to the welfare of athletes. He made remarks on the occasion to commemorate the 2024 Olympic Day held at Ondo State Sports Complex, Akure. Government House correspondent Zemo Ebiemi was there and his report is presented from our studios.
The Olympic Day run in Ondo State, led by Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, Olympians, sportsmen and women started from the Government House ground to Ondo State Sports Complex in Akure. Governor Aiyedatiwa, who was represented by his deputy, Dr. Olajide Adelami, said his administration has always maintained that sport is a good avenue for social interaction and integration amongst youths in the state and the country at large.
It is important to inform you that most of the youth who are taking sports as career in the state are on the payroll of the state government, while more than 600 athletes are on monthly allowances. The contract for the upgrading rehabilitation of Akure Township Stadium has been awarded by the state government to a reputable contractor to make the facilities meet international standard for the use of the sports-loving people of Ondo State.
He said the state will continue to embrace the objectives of the Olympic celebration, which among others was to promote national unity and grassroots sport development in the country.
I'd like to make it clear that our administration will continue to give necessary priority to sports in the scheme of things and improve on the welfare of our sportsmen and women. As we have repeatedly maintained, sport is a good means for social interaction and integration among the youth of this nation.
The Commissioner for Youth and Sport Development, Saka Yusuf Ogunleye, said the sustainability of the event was a clear indication that sport is a veritable instrument for the promotion of global peace. The representative of Nigeria Olympic Committee, Mr. Sylvester Ikojamoye, noted that sport keeps the mind and body strong as well as healthy.
Olympians always do things, bring people together in peace and solidarity. This is the principle of the sport. It inspires us to know, it brings out the best in us.
Highlights of the event were a short display by the 3 Guinness World Record holders in rope skipping and presentation of certificates to the governor, his deputy, and others.
And with that reports, we conclude the news at 7 on Osrc television. But before we go, a quick look at the top stories. We told you in the news that Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has reiterated his readiness to put the welfare of athletes representing Ondo State at national and international events in the front burner. Represented by his deputy Olajide Adelami, he renewed his commitment at this year's Olympic Day celebration in Akure. Stakeholders have remarked the successful execution of International Fund for Agriculture Development in Ondo State. Ondo and Ekiti States had to experience power outage in July and August due to maintenance of the 132 kilovolt Akure-Osogbo transmission line. And from the foreign scene, we informed you that French voters have gone to the poll to elect new members of the parliament in the highest election turnout in 40 years. That's the news tonight. Thank you very much for your time. Good evening to you.